Dating apps don't work? If you'd asked me 5 years ago what I thought about dating apps, I would have laughed. Not a polite laugh. A full-on. You've got to be kidding me. I believed love was supposed to happen naturally. At work. Through friends. Maybe while reaching for the same packet of instant noodles in NTUC. Definitely. Not by swiping left or right. But after 3 years of dating what my best friend lovingly called professional disappointments, I was tired. Very tired. One boyfriend forgot my birthday. Another borrowed money and disappeared. One introduced me to his mother, while secretly dating someone else. My best friend Angela finally looked at me one evening and said, "Clara, you've managed to find losers without any technology. Maybe let technology help." I laughed. "You think a dating app can do worse?" She grinned. "Exactly. It probably can't." She had a point. My name is Clara. I'm 23 years old. A teacher. Not the kind who teaches mathematics or English. I teach life skills to teenagers. Conflict resolution. Communication. Financial responsibility. Respect. Empathy. Ironically, I could teach healthy relationships in a classroom. Yet somehow, couldn't find one myself. One Friday night, still wearing my school lanyard, I downloaded a dating app. I promised myself one thing. I'm only looking for someone genuine. No games. No pretending. No impossible expectations. Just someone kind. His profile wasn't flashy. No sports car. No shirtless beach photos. No picture hugging a tiger in Thailand. Just a smiling man holding a cup of kopi. His bio read: pharmaceutical representative. Divorced. Loves hawker food, books, and terrible dad jokes. Looking for someone to laugh with. I stared at one word. Divorced. That would have scared me. No kids. It simply told me he'd lived. I smiled. Then I swiped right. A few seconds later. It's a match. Alen messaged first. Question. Pineapple belongs on pizza? I laughed. Not. Hello. Not. You're beautiful. Not. What are you wearing? Just pizza. I replied. Only if someone else is paying. His response came almost immediately. Great answer. So for our first meeting, we agreed to meet at a cafe near Tanjong Pagar. I arrived early. Naturally. Teachers are trained to arrive early. A few minutes later, a man walked in holding 2 umbrellas. It wasn't raining. He smiled. I wasn't sure if one might break. I laughed. Prepared for Singapore weather? Always. He looked exactly like his photographs. Actually. Better. More relaxed. Kinder. No pretending. Halfway through coffee, Alen smiled. I should probably tell you something. I know. My divorce? I read your profile. I wasn't sure if it'd scare you away. I shook my head. It tells me you were honest. He looked relieved. I promised myself I'd never hide it. I appreciate that. Then I smiled. My turn. What? I am an identical twin. We came as a pair. He laughed so loudly the cafe staff looked over. I am kidding, I am a twin, but she lives in Australia. The following Monday, my students noticed. Miss Clara. Why are you smiling? I always smile. No. This is different. Teenagers notice everything. Eventually one brave student asked. Are you dating? I laughed. Maybe. The whole class applauded. One boy shouted. Wedding ah. Apparently. My students had been rooting for me. I laughed and assured them there were no wedding plans. I hope you love the story that we brought you. This story was created by Pearl. Please remember to subscribe and like so that we can continue to create more stories. Being a pharmaceutical representative meant Alen traveled constantly. Hospitals, clinics, doctors. Long days. One evening he apologized. I'm running late. No problem. Doctor extended the meeting. I understand. Instead of getting frustrated, I found myself admiring how passionate he was about helping healthcare professionals understand new medications. He loved his work. That mattered. It wasn't his job. It wasn't his smile. It wasn't even his terrible jokes. It was how he listened. Really listened. If I spoke about a difficult student, he remembered their name weeks later. If I mentioned my mom's medical appointment, he'd ask how she was doing. If I casually said I liked a particular bakery, he somehow remembered months later. Being heard is one of the greatest gifts someone can give. One evening I finally asked, "Can I ask something?" "Anything." "Were you afraid to date again?" He nodded. Terrified. Really? I worried people would only see the word divorced. I reached across the table. I don't. I see Alen. He smiled. And what do you see? A kind man. A patient man. A funny man. A man who somehow thinks pineapple belongs on pizza. He laughed. I'll take 3 out of 4. Angela watched Alen carefully throughout dinner. Afterward she pulled me aside. I like him. You do? He asks questions. That's good? He listens to the answers. That's rare. I smiled. I know. Dad asked Alen exactly 23 questions. Mom offered him fruit after every answer. Finally Dad smiled. So, what do you do? I am in sales, pharmaceutical drugs to doctors. Dad exclaims, drug dealer ha 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 ha. We all laughed. Alen laughed. Was that the interview? Dad nodded. First round. We all burst into laughter. On the drive home Alen whispered. I think your father likes me. He does. How can you tell? He only asked 23 questions and made a joke. One Saturday afternoon, Alen suggested a walk through the Singapore Botanic Gardens. Nothing unusual. We often walked there. Halfway across a quiet lawn, he stopped. I've been thinking. That's dangerous. I know. But you've made me believe that life doesn't end after disappointment. It can begin again. Then he knelt. Not dramatically. Not with a crowd watching. Just the two of us. Surrounded by trees. Clara. Will you marry me? I smiled through tears. I downloaded one dating app. I went on one date. And somehow, I found you. Yes. Of course yes. People still love asking us. So, how did you meet? Sometimes they expect an elaborate story. Instead, I smile. We met on a dating app. Some people look surprised. Some look disappointed. As though romance should sound more complicated. Then Alen usually adds. The app introduced us. We did the rest. That's exactly right. Technology didn't make us fall in love. It simply introduced two people who were both ready to stop pretending. Today, Alen still travels across Singapore meeting doctors and healthcare professionals. I still spend my days teaching teenagers that kindness, honesty, and respect matter far more than appearances. Occasionally one of my students asks, "Miss Clara, do dating apps actually work?" I smile every single time. Then I tell them, they're just another way to meet someone. A good relationship doesn't begin because of an app. It begins because two people choose to be honest, patient, and kind. After school, I often meet Alen for dinner. Sometimes at a hawker center. Sometimes at a little cafe. Sometimes we simply buy takeaway and sit in the living room watching reruns. One evening I looked at him and laughed. What? I was just thinking. I spent years saying I'd never use a dating app. And now, I'm married to the first person I met on one. Alen grinned. So, who says dating sites don't work? I reached across the table and held his hand. They worked perfectly. Not because they promised a fairy tale, but because, after enough wrong turns, they quietly led me to the right person. And sometimes, that's all love really needs. One honest introduction. And two hearts willing to say, "Let's see where this goes." The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. It was created by Pearl with Drama Spark. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in love. Here, we're honored to bring you stories of hope, love, and the resilience of the human spirit.